From the worlds of the Genesis of Androzani Advent Calendar, now that's what I call an inner groove.
Yeah, the first song we're going to be listening to is one of their first proper singles they recorded. They got really noticed by some studios when they were sending the tapes around, and they were like, oh yeah, we like this. We want you to do more of that. Is a song called Love Buzz. There you go, Callum. That's Nirvana
That was
for
pretty
you.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Guitar riff throughout it was a banger to listen to. Yeah, that just constant riff was like
the balance between the bass and the electric.
Yeah,
there was a lot of communication in that.
That was a good one.
So you like?
I likey.
It's actually one of their songs that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah. So a bit of facts. This is actually a cover of a song from a 1969 album. It is from a Dutch band, and Novoselic, I believe, is Dutch. He's part Dutch, but he's also American. He suggested Kurt cover that song, and he at first wasn't keen on the idea of their first sort of offering to the studios being a cover, but he was convinced because they were able to turn it into something that sounded like this, and it did convince the studios to give them more, of a chance to be like, hey, come into our studios and record more, because we like the sound of this. This sounds like it can make some money. So yeah, it is a cover, lyrically speaking. However, when you actually listen to the song itself, they have really transformed it. Like it sounds so unique for, I think it was 1988 when they recorded it. I think it's really catchy. It's got a nice balance of scratchy electrical guitar as well as bass. Drums on this is Chad Channing at first. He did a solid job. Yeah, I think it's just a real fun song. The chorus being "Can you feel my love buzz?" is informally described as being a radiatory feeling of euphoria or otherwise stimulatory actions. So that could mean a whole bunch of things, whether it be from a significant other or from a substance or from an action. That's kind of where it all comes from. But it's probably mostly to do with sex, let's be honest. It's interesting because when we started Pink Floyd, there were a lot of songs about sex, and here we are. It's kind of how you get into the industry, I suppose. Sex sells.
I mean, yeah, rock as a whole is a lot about sex.
Yeah, rock in the sock.
Yeah.
So that's a good start, I gather, for you two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought, interestingly, that the song felt a lot like as the Foo Fighters. Like, it reminded me a lot more of Foo Fighters than it did.
Ironic. Given there's no Foo Fighters members in it.
Yeah, which I thought was funny. But yeah, it genuinely reminds me a lot more of Foo Fighters than it does of...
To be fair, later down the line, Dave Grohl would have played this song live with the band as they were touring. So even if he wasn't part of the initial studio recording, he still would have gotten to know this album and this song.
Yeah, I mean, it feels exactly like the type of song that Foo Fighters make to this day. I mean, one of their simpler songs, because obviously Foo Fighters has a bit more of a prog rock feel than this, even if it isn't classified as prog either.
Their production values are a lot higher because they have more of a reputation. When Nirvana did the first album, Bleach, they were literally, breadline. They were pennies, and they were, sleeping in vans while they were doing touring. This was bare bones budget. It wasn't until they got to Nevermind that they actually had enough money to make music that sounded like music. That was, like a proper... But I think, that, in a way, that kind of raw, really rugged recording quality actually kind of benefits the style they're going for at this time, anyway.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So they can kind of get away with it, really.
There are a few bands that do that where, like, the first few albums feel like that super raw, distorted, low-quality sound, rock mostly, with, like, Black Keys. And then later on in their careers, they try to recreate that type of sound to still sound raw and cheap, because it is just, like, their identifiable sound, what they like to make, which I think is interesting. Like, it is, like, a specific vibe of feeling very raw that helps a lot of bands.
Yeah, well, it feels earnest, right? It feels very grounded. But that fat bass riff in Love Buzz is a beauty, I have to say, from Chris Novoselic. Do